Good morning. It's day 117. Already huffing and puffing. So this is gonna be a long day. 18 miles to the next shelter. It's like no question. That's where everybody has to go. It's 18 miles to the next shelter. And so it's gonna be a rocky one. I've only got one pole. So it may end up being a rough day. The weather's nice. It's not as hot as it has been in the previous days. It was really nice and cool this morning and last night. So things could be worse. I'm not complaining. It's just going to be a bit of a challenge probably. Gosh, I had a really good time last night. This guy showed up. I don't know if he does this every night or a couple of times a week, but he was, I think, a 2022 thru hiker, and he lives in the area, and now he drives up to a parking lot 3 miles up the trail and brings in trail magic to make like pizza pocket sandwiches that he calls mountain pies at the shelter for everyone that's there during the bubble season, which I was looking back through his Instagram, and the crowd last night was probably the biggest crowd at that shelter this year. So a lot of socializing, a lot of fun was had. And those are the people I've been hiking around the last few days. Pretty much, well, since Boiling Springs, since Pine Grove Furnace, since the Mason-Dixon line, all that. It's been kind of the same group of people off and on each day. So it feels good to be in the bubble now, or in a bubble for the time being. And we kind of bounce around each other, pass each other, leapfrog all day long at the overlooks and the water stops and the shelters throughout the day. And then we all end up, or a lot of us all end up at the same camp spot at the end of the day. And that's kind of what I've been looking for on the trail. Hey, we're back in the Shenandoahs. Even with a deer, I was making a reference to the fern, and then a deer jumps away from my proximity. That's pretty funny. Reached the end of my first 6 mile chunk, leg segment. Third of today's hike. It's already late because I took a long break in the middle of that. That was not break related. But anyway, it happened to line up with me coming by this, my thumb pointing there, at this spring right here. And so I'm gonna re-water. Probably gonna take my break and drink and then re-water before I hit the trail again. But that's where I'm at today. 1/3 of the day down. Oh, there's a road nearby. I guess that stands to reason. I've been going downhill for like at least the last mile. Yeah, so it went from ridgy microbiome to this, what I call samey microbiome, because this forest just looks the same as all the other forests because we're not up on the ridge anymore where it's different and interesting. So, break time. Man, 11 miles to go still. I feel like I've already been hiking all day. I should be at least halfway, but I mean, just in terms of how I feel, I can look at my watch and do math. So obviously I don't expect it to be halfway. But one more hour before I'm halfway. It's crazy. So yeah, and for most of that hour, I'm gonna be climbing 1,000 foot, maybe 1,200 if you count the second summit. But it's at a 10%, so it's not that bad. And the last little 200 feet is at 8%, so it's an easy climb in that sense, but it's a lot of feet, a lot of miles. What in the world with the color? How am I supposed to interpret the drinkability of this water? It's coming out of the side of a mountain right there. But all the residue created by it is like bright University of Texas orange. How bizarre. Is it just the clay? It's a really nice flowing spring up there. I haven't seen a rhododendron tunnel in quite some time. So I'm taking a break, almost finished with the break, but I've got a little over 5 miles left. So it should take me 2.5 hours, which will put me there a little bit after 8. It's almost, yeah, it's 20 till 6 right now. So that's doable. I just spent quite some time on the FaceTiming with my parents earlier when I had a really good signal, and so that set me back a significant hour or more for today. So I feel like all I've been doing today is walking and listening to podcasts. I've kind of had my head in the clouds. Started a new book, audio book. It's Mockingbird by Walter Tevis, and it is, I'm only like on the 2nd chapter or something, and it is bleak, let me tell you, like Philip K. Dick bleak. But this is just how it's starting out, so I'll give it a chance, but I may need to titrate that with something lighter. So as not to de-mood myself. I stopped about 4 miles short of my planned destination. The day was just dragging out too long. So 14.5 mile day instead of 18. I mean, it's 7 o'clock now. I just hung my bear bag because it's a stealth site. There's a couple other campers here. There's a water source. I'll have to look at what I'm planning on doing tomorrow. I'm not sure yet, but hung my bear bag. About to set up my hammock back here in the woods. Totally unprepared sites. This is just a couple of trees in the woods, really. And that's what the tent guys are doing too. They're just, I think the fire ring was probably already here. But yeah, it's just a gap in the woods big enough for a couple of tents, really.
got one shot.
That's good. Yeah.
Like fucking Eminem said.
You only get one shot. And not miss a chance to blow.
Exactly. So she's like, if you get hurt or whatever, she's like, you have to come home. Like, you're done.
So that's the setup. All right, time to get out of these shoes and fix dinner.